What a goal!
What's up, broskies? Damocles here, and today I'm bringing you the best Mr. Mime build in Pokemon Unite. This build absolutely slaps. It lets you carry games as a support and makes people surrender real easily. If you like this content and you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and like and comment if you have any questions. And follow me on all socials, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, or hop in my Discord. All the links are going to be in the description down below. For this build, though, I'm going to be showing you a quick summary on Unite DB first, and then we're going to hop into the gameplay. So let's do that. So Mr. Mime, I'm going to go off the assumption that you already know what Mr. Mime generally does, but there are some things that you should take into account when you're playing it. Upon casting ability, Mr. Mime takes 10% less damage for 2 seconds. You should really keep this in mind because Mr. Mime can stay in some really long-term engagements over the course of a game, and you want to kind of space out your abilities in those early game fights so that you can maintain this 10% damage reduction. At the start of the game, I always go Confusion. Confusion is what I'm going to be running in this build. It is a massive damage nuke, and it is what makes Mr. Mime Mr. Mime. It's what makes this character amazing. If you practice a lot of Mr. Mime and you get really good with Confusions, you're going to be able to stomp games straight up. If you can't land your Confusions, you're going to have a rough time. Okay, and then the other thing I'm going to be running is Barrier, which is the classic combo, Confusion, Barrier. Barrier is just an amazing all-around skill, very similar to Block and some of the best skills in the game where you can just completely deny enemy Pokemon from an area or shut down carries or save your teammates if they make a bad positioning mistake. So the build is going to be going Confusion and Barrier because it's just phenomenal. And then, of course, you pick up Showtime as your Unite move. This thing is a fantastic anti-Zapdos tool, but I'll talk about that more later. As for the build, for items, I like to run Choice Specs first and foremost. I really like the damage output of Mr. Mime, and especially if you're playing this character in solo queue. I don't like going like a full tanky build with Mime just because I want to have that one-shot potential in lane. I really want to be able to nuke people, and as far as nuking is concerned, Choice Specs is going to be your go-to item for that. When you deal damage with a move, it deals additional damage afterwards based off of special attack scaling. It's just a really nice solid damage item, especially if you're only going to go with one damage item. And so that's why I picked Choice Specs. And then I also like to go with Buddy Barrier. Of course, Buddy Barrier is just insane overall, especially if you're playing a support. And Mr. Mime just gets so much benefit out of it because of how its Unite move works. So definitely run Buddy Barrier no matter what. And then also I like to run Score Shield because Mr. Mime has a lot of base HP and you can do a lot of cheesy stuff running up and scoring, tiny points here and there when you're running Score Shield, and it's really hard for people to defend against it because you can just Barrier and confuse them off the point. So that's going to be the items for the build. Now let's hop over to the gameplay so you guys can see this build in action because this build bops people. Alright guys, so you might be surprised in this game because I actually go to lane. I am not jungling this game. I'm playing Mr. Mime in the lane because I want to show you just how lane dominant this dude is and how much playmaking potential he has in lane, how much bully potential he has, because that is a real key part to playing Mr. Mime. You want to be aggressive. You want to be almost insulting to the enemy team, disrespectful, just because you have a certain level of tankiness and burst potential that other characters just straight up don't have early on in the game, and you need to abuse that early on. So we missed the Corphish there due to a poorly timed fake out, but that's okay. Really what we're trying to do for like the first power spike is get that Confusion, because once Confusion is up, we're good to go. We can start slamming people, but until that point, we want to take it a little bit chill, especially when we're facing off against, a defender Bulbasaur combo. Don't want to let Venusaur get ahead in the lane because Venusaur is just broken right now. Pokemon Unite still, even after the nerfs, still super strong. So right now I'm just kind of biding time until I can go and clear the other Corphish, get Confusion, and then we can just go to work. We can just start rocking. So see, immediately look for a play. We hit this Bulbasaur for half of its HP. I flash after it. I don't know why I did that. It really didn't make too much sense because I didn't have anything else to go pursue it. But it doesn't really matter because Bulbasaur can only do one thing in lane, and that is toss out some leaves at us, and in order to do that, gotta stay in the same place. We can see the jungler comes, but I'm not scared. I'm Mr. Mime, bro. After I go and I use my confusion and everything, I get reduced damage, so I can just go and I can keep tanking these hits. Bulbasaur comes back. I don't want him to get any comeback gold, so I push him off me, and I allow Sylveon to get the, just start kiting it with Hyper Voice, and then we can go and score a nice fat score into their goal to start off the game, immediately putting us ahead. And normally in this situation, I would go and I would try and take one of their camps, like one of the two APOMs. But given how low my HP threshold was, I really didn't want to take that risk of getting run up on by like a Snorlax stun or having Greninja come out of the jungle. But you can see Greninja went bottom, so that was not really necessary. Probably could have denied a little bit more XP there, but regardless, not a big deal. But something you want to keep in mind in this game, especially as playing Mr. Mime, is constantly be looking for plays. Constantly be looking for ways to abuse your shields, not shields, excuse me, your walls, so that you can set your teammates up for optimal positioning in plays. You can see here, I'm trying to peel for Sylveon so that it can use Hyper Voice. Played a little bit scared there, and I ended up picking the kill up on both of these guys, but I didn't keep in mind the jungle positioning, and that's where I messed up here. I probably could have confusioned backwards and stopped the Greninja, but I thought maybe I could go and land the score shield, get the cheesy score before the actual KO goes down, but it just didn't end up happening. But what I was saying before is, like, you don't, as far as like barrier placement is concerned, obviously you want to be able to try and get it immediately behind an enemy Pokemon and then confusion them into it for that double damage and for the stun. But especially in team fights, sometimes it's hard to do that. By the way, look at this wombo combo I set up here. This is why Mime is top. He's tops, bro. Look at that. You ain't gonna see a prettier wombo than that in your life, son. And the funny thing is, I called that when I was in game. I told my buddy that I was playing with, who's playing Sylveon. I said, yo, I'm about to hit the hottest Mime wall 2021, and look what we did. We go and we hit the wombo combo, the confusion barrier into the Greninja Unite move, and just melt the enemy team. We get a Dreadnought off of it. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying constantly be looking for plays. Try to go, and even if you can't land a perfect wall behind them, try and land walls that are going to force the enemy team into choke points or into positions that they don't want to be in, so that your team can go and follow up on it, right? You can see here, I know we're going to be fighting at Rotom real soon, so I want to take out their most dangerous enemy right here, their most dangerous character. So I go and you might think, not the best idea popping solo Unite move onto one person. But in my opinion, the only person that I was really like, well, the only person that killed me was Greninja, and he was higher level than me. I'm thinking, all right, Greninja's the jungler. Let me see if I can just shut down their jungler, put their jungler farther behind. So I pop my Unite move on him. We take him out, and that just puts the tempo all in our favor, right? Sometimes you want to do stuff just to mess with the enemy team's tempo and to tilt them, because that's what makes people surrender games. Especially with Mr. Mime, there's nothing more frustrating than getting constantly mimed into walls. Like that's back to back within like 15 seconds. Like if I was on the enemy team, I'd be like, dang, like that's so much damage from a support. That's so annoying. Right? And so you want to be constantly searching for that with Mr. Mime, putting the barriers in places to prevent enemy movement backwards, but also setting up your confusion and setting up your teammates to be able to get easy scores and stuff like that. But again, Mr. Mime's Unite move is phenomenal as like an anti-Zapdos tool as well, because you have to remember it basically stops the enemy from doing anything at all. Like if you are on top of them, they can't go and use abilities freely. It's hard for them to attack freely. So if your team is going and trying to do Zapdos and you don't want them to be soloing Zapdos, you can just go and try and jump onto the enemy carries so that there's no chance for your teammates to throw the game for you or something like that. Definitely keep that in mind. You can see here, even now, I'm looking for that Greninja. I know my teammates are fighting here, but I'm looking for their main carry so that I can try and get some damage on them. Of course, that doesn't end up working out how we want it to. It doesn't matter. We go and we clean up the fight, and just having that little bit of barricades behind the Greedent makes it so Greedent can't escape, and we snowballed the game and just tilted these people off the face of the earth, I think, with the wombos and just like the lane dominance, and they call an early surrender. And that's basically it. Like, that's all she wrote for that game, guys. that's how you play Mr. Mime in lane, and that's how you play Mr. Mime in team fights. You want to go and set up the plays. Mr. Mime is a playmaker, and you want to make sure that you're really abusing the damage output that Confusion brings and the tankiness that Mr. Mime provides, along with that Unite move. That Unite move is so crucial. I can't overemphasize enough. So playmaking, area denial, setting up team fights, but also peeling for your carries is incredibly important when you're playing Mr. Mime, because you have that knockback ability, you have that shielding ability that your teammates can walk. They can walk through those barricades. And I hope you guys like this content. I hope you like this video. As always, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and comment down below. It would mean the world to me. And if you want to see more content like this, or you really like this style of guide where I show the, show like the summary at the beginning instead of just jumping right into the gameplay, please let me know in the comments down below. You can see, didn't really do too much damage. We tanked a decent amount of damage, but really, Mr. Mime, it's not about the stats, right? It's about the setup. It's about the stuff that Mr. Mime is able to do that other characters aren't able to do. And that's why this character is so much fun, especially in like a solo queue setting. It's just, even if your teammates are bad, you're able to carry them through pure damage output in the lane, and by basically being able to be a little stopgap for when they make mistakes positionally and just put up walls behind them or knock enemies into your walls yourself. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support I've been getting. Again, I'm putting up like short videos and stuff on TikTok and stuff as well. So if you like those kind of short, quick guides, like 1-minute guides, feel free to go and follow me on there as well. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Damocles out.